All right, Laura, anytime. Take it away. We're not hearing it.
Oh, I forgot I have to do that little thing up at the top. Okay.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Laura. That's great.
Yeah. Welcome.
Those are always so beautiful.
My dog was really listening to it.
All right,
Yeah,
Terrie.
my cat just jumped up here.
Okay. Do we still pray in? Charlie, would you pray us in?
He's still there.
I'm
Muted.
muted myself, but Laura, I'm always going to remember you with the clock on your belly.
Oh, with the clock on my shirt.
For sure, yeah. Oh, I love you. Okay, let's all turn within and recognize there's only one power, there's only one life. It's the life of God, and it's expressing itself everywhere through everyone. So when we express humor, when we express joy, when we express love, we're coming from our greatest understanding of the resemblance of God living through us as us. And we joyfully celebrate that acceptance and do it by living it to the best of our ability. And for that, I do give thanks. I welcome our meditating teacher who will inspire us to live fully, wholly, and completely. So it is.
And so it is. No pressure, right, Charlie? Spiritual or otherwise, right?
No pressure.
No pressure. Okay, well, thank you for asking me to speak today. It's always an honor to come back and see all of you and share some thoughts that I have or that were actually given to me. So when Nikki contacted me, we were talking about maybe present moment would be a good thing to discuss because, we always hear about it. And I was trying in my mind to think about how to explain it and how to explain why it's important. And Paula can help me out with this, but she understands the importance of present moment in working with animals because we did it at my house. And when you come into present moment, it's almost like everything around you becomes a barometer or a biofeedback device, including your animals, including people. And it's just so important as to help us to present in the world and to understand what's going on. So I had some thoughts, as I said, in the shower, and I wanted to put them down. And there it is. You know, let me share this with you before I. There we go. All right. There we go. So one of the premises about present moment that I'm coming to understand is that the world is really a frequency suit. We think at a certain frequency when we're doing certain tasks. Our brain shifts from frequency to frequency, depending on what we're doing. Everything around us has and vibrates to a frequency, or we wouldn't in this 3D world be able to see it, because the level of frequency, the slower the frequency, the more 3D it is, the more it's here. So if we look at all these frequencies, and we're constantly being bombarded by these frequencies, and these frequencies make up a part of everything, like in Stephen Hawking's work, when you talk about power versus force in some of his later books, he even assigns a frequency level essentially to emotions. The lower frequencies being, I think the lowest one is shame and greed, those to the higher frequencies, which are compassion and love. And so everything around us is vibrating, and we too are vibrating. As we know our aura, for those of us who have studied auras, and if you have, I don't mean to talk down to you, but I just want to start at a beginning. We each of our chakras, 7 chakras, vibrates at a certain frequency, spins at a certain frequency. And part of our healing is to adjust those frequencies as needed for the health in our body. Those auras, those frequencies contribute to our aura, which is, when I was back in a spiritualist church, and some of you spiritualists might help me to explain this better, but we all walk around in an egg of energy, which is our aura. And that energy is only like 5 or 10% of it is contained in our human body, but the rest of it is in other dimensions, in other places. So we are truly multidimensional people with frequencies that we can adjust by our thoughts, and our thoughts are frequencies. More and more we're coming to learn, more and more they're coming to learn that as we think, there we are, kind of, in a way. So if anybody who's read Emmett Fox or read anything by Edgar Cayce will understand, I finally understand what they're saying, is that thoughts are things. Thoughts are the same, made up of the same thing as all of the solid materials around us. They just vibrate at a different frequency. It's like sound is at a certain frequency, and those beautiful sounds that Laura was able to put together, she got those frequencies so that they were in harmony, and so that they vibrated at a very high level, and you can almost feel them on our own frequencies, adjusting our own frequencies. And that's why music is part of every single culture in the world, is because that music, as we come into it, it changes the way we think. It adjusts our brain frequencies. And even back, if you were old enough to be alive in the 50s and 60s, when rock and roll first started getting big, people were saying that that was going to change us, that was going to, that's the devil asserting his frequencies on us, kind of what they were saying. It was just the devil's work. They didn't quite know what they were talking about. And we know that not to be true. And we know that certain frequencies affect us negatively. And we know that certain frequencies affect us positively. And we know that when we interact with things, if our frequencies are right, if we're feeling good, if our thoughts are right, if we have a pure intention, a solid intention, an intention with integrity, then we also vibrate at those frequencies that bring good things to us. And that's another axiom that spiritualists have said since the 1800s, like attracts like. And I think each of us can come up with a situation or an example of when, they were in a low point and it just seemed like nothing could go right because they were attracting those negative energies until something positive happened to raise their vibration, and then they began to attract more positive things into their life. Certainly, I know that to be the case in my life, that it almost seems like once you trip, the next time you fall, and then the next time you hurt yourself, it's almost like, several things happen. But then once something good happens, then the coincidences keep on happening and you raise your vibration that way. Those of us who believe in spiritualism, spirituality, who work to lift not only our spirits, but the spirits of others around us, know that we could do that through our spoken word. Why? Because our words vibrate at a frequency. We can do that even by just thinking about someone. Why? Because thinking about that person creates a frequency. And as we think about them, they feel that frequency. And so many times in so many meditations, when we try to do healing, when we do healing, we generate those frequencies of healing from our heart, from our head, and then we coalesce them and then shoot them out. And it's not uncommon for the receiver of those frequencies to then somehow think of us through those frequencies and then get in touch with us. And those are some of the things that happen because of frequencies. And it's almost like the fish swimming in the water. The fish doesn't really see the water, and because we are in such a frequency soup, there are few who can actually see the frequencies as they come through, and see frequencies of the body and see frequencies of things. But for the most part, we have been taught not to see those frequencies, not to pay attention to those subtle energies that we feel. For example, when we come into a room where there's been a healing service, or if we come into a room where there's been a terrible argument or a fight, we feel those. And even if we are not consciously aware of feeling those, our body is one big, huge energy feeling instrument. And as we can tune our bodies, and as we did this morning with the bowls, we can tune our bodies, and we can tune our thoughts, which is the biggest thing. I remember back in the day, when I first started reading Emmett Fox, and I don't know if any of you are aware of him. He was a kind of a philosopher from the 20s, the 30s, Trowbridge, Fox, those kind of people that kind of built upon the spiritualist movement that was occurring, who actually, Dale Carnegie is another one. They filled like huge auditoriums to talk about how thoughts were things and how emotion, that energy, if we could rise our vibration, our frequency, and generate positive emotions, we could magnetize things to us. And, coming from my steeped in religious Catholic background, that just seemed like so much woo-woo, but yet it made so much sense. And now, almost 50 years later, I'm coming into this understanding, maybe just a hair of what he's talking about and how this affects things. And there's all kinds of books that have been written on frequencies and the frequencies that exert both positive and negative energies on the human body, and the frequencies that exert positive and negative energies on the environment and the earth. But as above, so below, I want to talk about that a little bit. And it was so appropriate to look at Laura's tree, because the tree is really the symbol of as above, so below. The branches of the tree are mirrored by the branches that are underground that we don't see, by the roots. And the bigger the tree, the larger the root system. So this as above, so below is something that it was hard for me at least to conceptualize. until I got into the tree concept. But I want to take that a little bit farther. And we talked about frequencies, we talked about the human aura, but we know that the earth also has an aura. And we know that the reason, I mean, at least I was taught in 6th grade, the reason that we have radios at all is because energy bounces off the ionosphere. We also know that one of the theories about why we have global warming is because of the greenhouse emissions bouncing off the ionosphere and becoming stronger. So these emissions bounce off the ionosphere, and every time they bounce, they get stronger and stronger. And this is just a little bit of an analysis. If you look, pretend the Earth is in the middle and pretend this circle goes all the way around it. I didn't have time to find a really good picture. But if you look, this energy is coming, it comes from both ways. It comes from the sun and it hits the Earth, and then it bounces around and gets warmer. Or it comes from the Earth and it goes to the ionosphere and bounces around, and that's where we get our radio waves and some of our other frequencies. And so the Earth is this almost closed system. They say that greenhouse gases and some of our emissions and some of the, I think it's thoughts basically, have torn a hole in our protective layers. But doesn't that sound like what we talked about with the human aura? So let's look. There's the human aura, right? Under Curtian photography. And it's just this energy just coming off and going in all different directions. And this energy energy affects whatever it touches. So every time you come in, have you ever been in a situation where someone just came right up to you and started getting in your face and talking to you, and you're like, whoa, back off, dude, back off. The reason you wanted them to back off was to try to get their energy away from you. There's something about their energy they didn't like. I'm a non-drinker, and I cannot, anybody who gets close to me who's been drinking, especially if they're drunk, I can't take their energy. It's just too chaotic for me. So it's not, it's too chaotic for me. I just don't like it in my space. And so this is the human aura. Go ahead. If you have any questions, just jump in. I'm just going to keep blabbing until you stop me. So anyway, so that's the human aura under Curtian photography. There's the aura of the Earth. And so if you look at it, it's the same energy, it's the same frequencies, it's the same electromagnetic energy that we emit is also emitted by the Earth. So from our perspective, as above, so below. As it happens with the Earth, so it happens with us. So as we, in our aura shell or ionosphere, which is compared to the ionosphere of the Earth, we also get that energy bouncing around inside of us. Anyone who's ever been unable to shut their mind off, that has a thought that just keeps going and going and going, you can almost imagine it bouncing around inside your aura, coming back to you and getting stronger with each bounce, like the electromagnetic energy bounces off the ionosphere. You can almost understand that as we have depleted, I don't want to politically talk about global warming or anything like that. I have no opinion on it, but I use it as an example of as above, so below. So if it is true that we have somehow weakened the protective layer of the ionosphere that allows, say, for example, solar radiation to come in stronger than it did before, that allows other noxious or negative energies to enter into the Earth and causing our climate change. If we think about that, let's think about our thoughts. Our thoughts are encased in our aura. Our thoughts they come from our brain, they come out at a certain frequency, they get into our aura. And if they're positive thoughts, they make us feel good, and we think more positive thoughts, and we become filled with positivity until, we're not, because as human beings, we're constantly shifting emotionally as well as physically. But imagine, you've always heard that any negative thought comes back 10 times, or any negative thought comes back 3 times, any positive thought comes back 10 times. If you use the ionosphere analogy, you can see how that could happen, because you send a negative thought and it can't penetrate your aura, so it stays with you and it keeps bouncing around. It makes sense. Positive thoughts, they go out like a radio wave, and then they come back to you increased, like in the ionosphere. So that's one example of how thoughts affect us. And that's also an example of how thoughts affect other people, our thoughts. Now, when we were talking about the human brain, we talked about the frequencies of the human brain. And many of us understand that there's, a subconscious, a conscious, and then a superconscious, if you will. The subconscious is all of those emotions and thoughts that we haven't quite managed to process throughout our lives. And many of those thoughts and feelings, especially the energy on those feelings, happened before we had language to process them, between the ages of, say, 1 and maybe 6 or 7 or 8. And so they stay in our body as feelings. They stay in our body as, I think when you talk about a felt sense, they stay in our body as felt senses. And we operate, that's like the subconscious is like the operating system of us. And so if we haven't, a lot of what we do in spirituality is to kind of face that subconscious, to see what's there, what is motivating us, that we don't consciously understand. And we do that through hypnosis, we do that through prayer. Another way to do that is through the presence, practicing the presence. And so we'll talk about that in a minute. So our subconscious, it has an energy, it has a thought that we think of. The subconscious is like the theta level of thinking. When we looked on this chart, you could see that there was a certain energy. It's the lower frequencies of energy that we use to think with, that we use to think with. And that is our subconscious realm. And that's the realm that we lived in. Here we go. It says theta, 4 to 7. That's the realm that we lived in before we had language. That's pretty much when they talk about kids being learning machines and soaking up everything around them. That's because they're operating out of that theta system, that theta brainwave. It isn't until I think they're thinking around 7 or 8 years old that they become self-conscious, and that's when they enter more into the beta, alpha and beta levels of processing things. So theta is dream time. Delta, of course, is very, very, very asleep. So you can dream in delta, you can dream in theta, but delta is very, very slow brainwaves. Not a lot going on there. Mostly associated with recovery and replenishment and health, those delta. So if you're a meditator, delta is a good place to get, as long as you can stay awake in the theta, the theta delta interface is the best place to be. So why am I talking about all this brain stuff? Why am I skipping all over the place? Well, I don't know, but I think it's because when we come into the present moment and we slow our brain waves down. So if we were to look at present moment and we were to look at obsessive thinking, which is something I suffer from, obsessive thinking, perseverating is another name for it. Having an argument in your head with someone who doesn't even know you're arguing with them. I don't know if you guys have had that experience. This overthinking is what it's called. So as long as you're overthinking and you're up in the alpha, well, you're up in the beta brainwaves when you're doing all this overthinking, you're so far away from theta in your subconscious. You're so far away from anything helpful that it just stays buried. The theta is, it just stays buried. And you're stuck on these thoughts. So present moment isn't really absence of thoughts. What present moment is in my mind, it's absence of thinking. Because we can never turn off our thoughts. It just is. There's always thoughts that just will come from nowhere. Some of these frequencies that we're in the middle of bombarding our brains, and we translate them into feelings and thoughts. We can't stop that. And meditation has never, well, the reason I think more people don't meditate is because they think they have to stop their thoughts. They can't stop their thoughts. And so they think that they're a failure. But the truth is, let your thoughts go. But, if any of you have been under hypnosis, the analogy is, allow them to float over you like a puffy cloud on a summer day. You notice them and you're like, that's right, I do need milk. And you let it go instead of thinking, you know what, I need milk and I'm only going to get 2% because that last milk I got was horrible. The way we start to think about things, that's overthinking. So as we come into present moment, which is what we're talking about here, what we do is we allow those frequencies, but we don't grab them. We don't latch onto them. We don't hold them. We just let them go. We just let them go on their merry way. And if anybody here is a control freak, I'm a card-carrying member of the Control Freak Club. To allow a thought to just pass through is really, really hard at times, because it just gets you off on another line of thinking, because it's things you have to do, places you have to be. And the other thing I'm learning about is, if you live in time and space, and this is something that I don't understand. If anybody understands this, I would love an explanation. But if you live in time and space, as we do, then you will always be in the past and the future. The present moment is without time and it is without space. So it's something I'm trying to overthink probably and wrap my head around. But I know that present moment works without even having to understand. Without even having to understand the concept. So let's see, we've gone half an hour. And I thought Vitruvian Man, I love this drawing. I love the energy of this drawing. But if you look, it kind of exemplified it for me, us being in our auric bubble, and what we allow. And the strength of that bubble depends on the strength, I think, of our soul's song. I guess, if you will say it, the way that we have allowed ourselves to come into our soul strengthens our aura. It just makes us more of who we are. Otherwise, our soul lives up in that 95% of us that's in other dimensions, and we are just here, human automatons, walking around, reacting to everything that happens, and getting emotional and usually not positive emotions. So one of the benefits, one of the many, many benefits of being in present moment is it allows you the opportunity to reflect rather than react. And what I mean by that is, so much, you want to see me driving in the car here in DC. It's like every single time somebody cuts you off, it's a reaction, right? Did it hurt me that they cut me off? Did it,
No.
Did it do anything to me other than, impinge on my feelings of entitlement? So that's a reaction. And that's something that creates all that energy that goes out from our aura and brings it back in. So now pretty soon the next guy's cutting you off, and then you're flipping him off. And I used to even say, when I got to work, they would ask me how my drive-in was, and I would say, I sprained my middle finger this morning. And that was kind of the truth, just reacting. So present moment, though, allows you the moment, the second, the creativity, the eh, presence of mind. That's why I guess that's why they say presence of mind. The presence of mind, not to react, but just to let it go. React to those things that are important, but react with thought. React with the whatever your integrity is. So, for me, my thing is always do no harm to myself or anybody else, but do no harm. And so it gives me a moment, instead of just flipping somebody off, I get a moment to think about how I want to act in this moment. How do I want to act? Not how is going to act me, which is kind of what happens when we don't practice present moment. So it's a Shutterstock. So let me just look and see. I'm going to stop here for any questions that somebody might have, or disagreements, or it doesn't matter to me. Again, this is all stuff that I just kind of put together as I'm learning, and I'm continually learning about these things.
Yeah, Terry, I appreciate your presentation very much. And Emmett Fox and certainly Edgar Casey and some of the others have been people I've studied throughout the years. I had a profound dream this week that not sure where it came from, but it awoke in me to anyway, I needed to go back to Virginia Beach, and that means Edgar Casey, and that means enlightenment. Okay, so now you're talking about words of things, and you're talking about thoughts. There might be a distinguishing difference between words and thoughts. But what I'm really getting from your talk is this. I mean, certainly before words came into being, we lived and moved and had our being until we created words. But what I'm really getting from your talk is that words, in a sense, are neutral. But it's a frequency that makes a difference. I can say some words that might be offensive to somebody, but if I'm saying them at a higher frequency, they're not meant to be offensive. So what I'm getting from your talk is it's the frequency that makes the difference. And so at some point, perhaps we can, if we see that we're operating at a lower frequency, giving somebody that middle finger, what's required of us then to bring in a higher frequency? Are we able to do that? What teaches us to do that? What invites us to do that? And maybe that higher frequency is not just contained within the aura bubble of who we are, but it's more universal. It's like, I don't know if you can put the universe of God into a bubble or not. It's what I'm saying, I guess, is that there's a difference between just words. What impacts words is frequency. And frequency has got to be tied into emotional feelings.
Right.
Sure.
Feelings.
Yeah. So,
Feelings.
So what can we do when we find ourselves operating at lower frequencies and we're not feeling, and we want to change that? What is required of us? Is there something we can do to invite and bring in higher frequencies?
I think the thing, I mean, I don't know to answer your question, but I think we just need to be willing. We need to be willing to allow our frequency to increase. We need to be willing not to judge the lower frequency, not to judge ourselves or anyone else, because if we didn't know the lower frequency, we wouldn't know the higher frequencies, right? We live in a world of duality. And I see a hand up. Karen?
Yeah, it's Corrine actually.
Corrine, sorry.
One of the things
that helps me, and I'm not perfect in any means, and I really am enjoying your speech, I mean, or your class, it's wonderful. But one of the things that I found, if I don't do, it's kind of like, and it's not like I'm doing it just to do it, it really helps me. But every morning I meditate for 20 minutes and I just do deep breathing. And like you said, let the clouds go. And then I also, before I meditate, I actually write a grateful list and I say it out loud of at least 10 things and what I'm grateful for and because. And then I also do an automatic writing where I just see what comes up and just kind of observes it. So that's my 2 cents. The one thing that I've had that I wanted to ask you is that, sorry to get emotional, but my father passed away in October. And I just feel like it's like almost like a roller coaster ride because I've been getting lots of messages from him. I mean, I woke up in the middle of the night, did free writing and gave it to my mom. It was a message for her because I am a medium and I've been getting a lot of positive energy from him. But there's still like not a lot of closure. So I know it's lowered my frequency in some ways and then raised it higher. And then the crazy part of it is that since my dad's passed away, I was always the good little girl. People said, do this, do that. I did it. Well, now I'm getting my throat chakra and I'm actually speaking up and saying, hey, you know, this or that, or standing up for myself. So it's kind of done like a 180 though in the universe where some people, and I'm doing it, so maybe it's I don't think it's subconsciously, I'm actually having to force to do that, but I know it's better for my higher self. But I'm finding this 180 where some people in my life that, you know, I've had just, you know, like those people are falling away. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of scary. Has anyone else had that? But I know it's good for me because universe, God, spirit has the best for me no matter what. But it's just weird that I've lost my dad. But then there's also, I don't know if it's because my frequency is so low, but then it's a lot higher than it's ever been in my entire life. So it's kind of like a roller coaster, which I've taken grief classes and they said, yeah, you're going to run into that. Am I making sense? I was just asking, you know, how you know, has anyone else had that, or have you had that experience when you're going through, you've lost a major person in your life and it's like things start, like the universe just starts twirling and switching things up on you.
So there's a perfect analogy that they actually use it in the 12-step program. And it's, you know, a mobile, perfectly balanced mobile, and you wind it up and it spins around a little kid's crib.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Cut one of those pieces off and what happens to the mobile?
Exactly what I'm dealing with. And some of it's very positive and some of it's like, where did this come from? Okay, thank you.
Right. But eventually it's going to right itself. Eventually it's going
Yes,
to the new normal. So
yes.
it's for us to, one, treat ourselves with compassion. That easier
Okay.
said than done. I know that, but treat ourselves with compassion. And I'm hearing a note of forgiveness in there that maybe needs to happen. So maybe just think of, you know, even if you're just mad at your dad for leaving you, there's some
Yeah.
forgiveness that needs to happen in that relationship. And I think that's going to help you
Okay.
deal with some of the other emotions. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Oh, sure. Anybody else got anything on that?
Yeah, can I, what you're experiencing, Corinne, is very natural. Grief is, you know, love with no place to go. And so
Whoa.
now that your father has passed away, you have to reevaluate your standing. You're no longer a child, you're an orphan. And that takes a whole lot of juggling in your head, and it takes you a while to figure that all out. And grief is a very individual thing. You don't do it wrong, and you don't do it right. You do it at your own speed. Uh, take the messages that your Father is sending you and take peace from those messages. Instead of looking at it to confuse you, take peace with those messages. He's at peace. You wouldn't want him back here not at peace. So kind of change your intentions a little bit, and I think your intentions is how you change your, it helps to change your frequencies and accept his love, and you know he's coming back with messages for you for a very good reason. He wants to give you peace and to let you know that he's constantly by your side and he's only a thought away. You can commune with him in your heart. And he knows exactly what you are doing, and he's constantly telling you that he's right beside you to guide you forward in your new chapter in life.
Thank you for that. Thank you so much. And the messages I love, it's hard because I share it with the family and then they get upset and say, why aren't we getting the messages? So I've explained to them, hey, this is just a gift. They have their own gifts. So I'm just sharing this love. You know what I mean? So I think that's, you start feeling a little bit guilty you're getting these messages, but I really appreciate your words. I need to just accept these messages and share them, and whatever they say, it's okay. He wants them to know those messages and I am just the messenger. So thank you for saying that. It's beautiful.
And if I may add to that, the question, when we find ourselves in some pain, maybe whatever that is, cognitive, emotional, physical, how do we get ourselves back to, I just don't think, I think there is so much more paradox, so I don't know how to say that, but how do we soothe ourselves, I guess, is how I interpreted that. And I loved how you started with spiritual practices. You said, I meditate, I breathe deeply, because for me in my practice, it is a spiritual solution, whatever the malady, and I have to find what that path is for myself and how I seek that, at every moment, however imperfectly that I do that. So I just love that you started with that, as though you intuitively knew it's a spiritual solution, or that's a place for comfort.
Thank
So
you,
I
Sal.
resonated with that.
Thank you.
Terrie, I think
For
it's
your
so great.
service, Teresa. I just wanted to thank you for your service, Teresa. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. My pleasure. Yeah,
Terrie,
Charlie.
this is a great subject. I think you maybe want to continue it next Sunday.
I'll have to take another shower, Charlie. I don't know. But I did want to say, what did I want to say? I did want to say, I wanted to kind of get to the point in all of this. And that is that when we're overthinking and we're in our alpha and our mostly beta mind, we're so far away from theta. We're so far away from our feelings. And Charlie was talking about the frequency, but the frequency really is what? It's feelings, because we are feeling beings. When we're children, when we're babies, we can't talk. We can't articulate what we need. We do it through feelings. And anyone who's ever had an infant or held an infant, you know exactly what that infant, for the most part, is thinking or feeling, because we share those feelings. And that's what the present moment does. It brings you into this place where you can share feelings at the feeling level, and it's okay. No thoughts involved, just feelings at the feeling level in the present moment. And the easiest way, if you're looking for a technique, the easiest way that I've learned to do that is to still your body, focus on a point, maybe, 10, 15 feet across the room, soften your eyes and focus on your breathing and just be still. If you wouldn't mind trying that for just maybe 30 seconds, just focus on your breathing, focus on keeping your body still. And if you can find a sound in your environment to listen to, then listen to that. And let's just do that for 30 seconds. And while you're doing that, write a grocery list. Okay. Okay, the grocery list was a joke because if you're in present moment, you can't think. You simply cannot. So that's kind of the test for me is, okay, I really, really want to try and do this. And if I'm in present moment, I can't. So let's try it again and let's just let that breath out. Focus and hold our focus. Allow those thoughts just to pass through. And as Eckhart Tolle would say, is there anything in this moment that you need, that you lack? Okay. And the answer is no. Oh, I like Catherine Ponder too. Thank you for that, Sally. Yeah, I do. And Florence Shin, yes, I do. But so that is present moment. And if you want, I mean, we've got what do we got? 12 minutes. If it's all right with you, we could do a guided meditation real quick. Or I think Nikki wants to. Or we could just do some more questions, or we could just do present moment. But I don't know what the meditation is going to be, but let's see if they give us any clues about present moment. Go ahead, Laura.
Just real quick, Corinne, I sent you a private message. This is something that I do for 40 years out of clothing of people that have passed away.
Oh, nice.
And I would be happy to do that for you if you would like to do that.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know.
And I would love a meditation.
Okay, sure. If you'll indulge me one more second, I want to find something. I'm taking a class with Jonathan Goldman. I don't know if any of you know him. He's a music kind of frequency kind of guy. And he came up with the Gaia frequency. And they do it with binaural beats. If you have headphones handy, it would be best to listen to this with headphones. I should have said something sooner. But I just want to give you a little sample of what the Earth's frequency would sounds like. And let me see if I'm technically savvy enough to do this. Hang on. Share screen, advanced.
That's what I love about the bowls. I think everybody should have a bowl. And just sit with it and sing it is very meditative.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Oh, I see. Share sound. Okay. So I'm gonna do that. And I don't think he'd mind. Okay, it's going now. It's a very low tone. Not audible to the ear without the binaural beats. guys hear that? And what did you think of it?
Yeah. I could hear. It's very peaceful.
It's almost like a heartbeat, isn't it? To me,
It was a constant vibration. It was very peaceful, very, very low.
Mhm.
That's what I mean by sitting with a bowl at your heart chakra and just sit
Yeah.
there and sing it and close your eyes. It's the same thing.
I
Okay.
could actually feel the binaural beats, believe it or not.
Mhm.
Oh, nice. Very interesting that you do
Mhm.
that.
Well, I'm used to the newcom, so my
Mm.
ears are a little more in tune, but I could actually feel it with my heart, which was interesting.
Yeah, I was feeling it in my heart too. I know. I love this. I don't know anything about this guy other than he's like the guru of sound, and he's got this video class, and it's a little whack, but he has so many interesting theories about vibration and its effect on us, and vibration and its effect on the earth. And yeah, if you get a chance, it's Shift Network, Jonathan Goldman. Maybe take his course. He's just, yeah.
Also, YouTube is full of things like binaural beats and different sound waves. I've
Do you?
been listening to the brain healing,
Oh,
and
no.
I find that they're working. My
Oh, good.
mind is doing things it hasn't done in a long time, and that's surprising.
Terrific. I'm such a control freak. I like to know where my stuff is coming from. That is, I think if you could do positive things with binaural beats, you could probably do negative things like Manchurian Candidate with binaural beats. You're a braver man than I am, Kevin. I like to. I'm glad. Yeah.
Can I
Okay.
ask a question about the bowl? So whoever knows about the singing bowls, we have a couple, but I always think in my mind, my husband is the musician. I see you, Laura. So we have a big one and a small one. And I said, which one is easier? I want to take a bowl downstairs. Which one do you think is easier to play for a novice?
You mean a bigger one or a smaller one?
Correct.
I would play them both and see which one resonates with you the best.
Thank you.
When people go to buy bowls, I'm teaching it now. I'm teaching classes in Tibetan singing bowls, and I take them to the store and I say, play them all and see which one you resonate with, and that's the one for you. They will speak to you.
Thank you.
All right. So, if you have to drop off at any time during this meditation, please do. I don't anticipate it being too long. We might go maybe 5 or 10 minutes over. But I'm gonna play during the meditation something called "At Peace with the Past." It's from Centerpoint. It's another binaural beat thing. I just really like the music and I love the voices with it. So I did want to plug them since I'm going to use it. But let's see if we can get that going. Everybody. Blow it all. Now imagine wonderful golden light shining down on you. And imagine chakra opening to accept this light. This light shimmers and glistens. It's golden, but it changes color. Glows. And it's the perfect frequency for your body. Perfect frequency. Heal, create, affect whatever is going on with you. Fill your aura with lovely healing energy. It's the perfect word. And it comes into you. And it pours down inside your head, around your brain, outside your head, down to your feet. And this energy just swirls and it takes with it any negativity, any disease, anything that's not serving, being dissolved by this flows down shoulder, out your arm, out your that energy is that magnetic energy is cutting toward the earth, flowing down all the negativity. The rest of the energy continues down the base of your skull, neck, flexion, muscle, those fibers. You do not have to do anything right now. Feel this wonderful. Listen to the music. Listen to my voice. Just you're safe. You're loved. You are protected. So this energy swirls around the outside of your inside your chest, healing all of the organs, your lungs, healing your heart. You have more brainwaves in your heart than you do in your brain. Use your heart. Use your heart, the seat of your emotion. Combination. That energy continuing down past your lungs, stomach. It circles around your belly. Feel that energy, strengthening your solar plexus, strengthening your and those chakras are buzzing at the perfect frequency. Anyone or anything that's hiding in those chakras, anyone or anything that doesn't belong, and all negativity, all forms of infestation, all forms of whatever's happening, leaving through your hands, but it's also moving down to your thighs, into your swirling energy. Wonderful swirling energy is now swirling around your legs. And you feel a strange sensation, purity, cleanliness of something you haven't felt this cool for a very long time. And so this wonderful light is bringing this. And at the same time, it's connecting you. And so this light is leaving your feet chakras and it's moving into the earth. The earth gratefully opens up and it grounds you. All of the negativity, all of the hurt, all of the everything distracting you. You're now left. You are in this perfect vessel, this vehicle. You were intended by God to live on this earth. Or you were taught the things that don't serve you. Or you thought. Before you were influenced by things that all gone. As you find yourself, part of you that's in your body, the aura of you that's in your body is going down with this energy, thereby extending your being. And Mother Earth gratefully accepts you as she cradles you in her holds on to you and she says, welcome. welcome home. So you find yourself, that energy, you find there's a cross, not only coming down into the earth, but also rising from the earth. Mother, loving, nurturing energy is now entering the body through your contact with the earth. And it's now rising through your body very quickly, like a fountain, like a sparkler. It just comes up and it comes out the top of your head. It fills your aura. And it fills not only your aura, but it fills all of your etheric, all the ones, all the way up throughout the universe. All the dimensions of you now connected. All the dimensions of you now. All the dimensions of you are now whole. And any pieces that are missing are now flooding into you through your chakras, through the top of your head, and all of the pieces, activity that kept those pieces out has left. So you are totally filled. You are filled with love of the Creator, love of the earth, love of the universe, the love of every dimension. You can feel the energy now in your body. The top levels of your energy are fed from your heart. Bottom levels of your energy, your physicality is fed from down. Heart joins body and soul. So now you find your being whirling, floating, flying. Just an incredible feeling to be free, live as intended, to be as intended. Take a few moments and allow this wonderful energy let you float you, free you, fill you, buoy you, allow you to fly. And as you find yourself doing somersaults, whirls, and aileron rolls, barrel rolls, you find yourself where you look down, you see the earth below you, beautiful mother. She shines and she looks up at you, and you know that you're supported from above and below. You feel this energy in your heart. It feels like the heart just taking. And as you allow that energy to flow through your heart and to find its way back to the earth, people on the earth, people who need this energy. So just take a moment and allow this energy to flow. People who are hungry, people who are loveless, people who are take a deep breath. Bring that energy back into your heart. Allow your aura to seal it around you. Now find yourself slowly floating back past the stars, planets, down into your building, into your room, into your chair. Take another deep breath in gratitude for the love that's around you. Another deep breath. Begin to feel yourself back in your chair. Back in your room. Stretch your arms and legs. When you're ready, you can open your eyes.
Thank you, Terry.
Hey, someone's got their Charlie. Charlie, you're the one who's doing.
You've got an echo. Can you turn off your shared sound?
What are you saying?
Can we mute Charlie?
What's that?
Oops, it keeps jumping around. I'm muting other people. Okay, he's muted now. Was that where you were hearing the interference?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
not here now.
Yeah, it's not.
No,
yeah.
I'm unmuted. Yeah, I was just hearing I was trying to, it a little bit.
There was a lot of echo.
Yeah, the music was coming in solid for most of it, but then when you started bringing us back, then your voice kept competing with the speakers.
Yeah. Because we were echoing, and that's the point.
So
We
your
were
voice
echoing all
was
the way
coming and going, but the music was
sorry.
solid, so it was good to trust that the words were coming through, right?
Yeah. Okay.
But it felt good. Thank you. I always
Oh,
enjoy
thank
these
you.
with you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, I love doing that.
What was the
Thank-
name of that particular piece of music?
It is called Making Peace with the Past. And
Okay.
it is it's a binaural beat from Center Point with an E, Center Point. They've got some great stuff if you're into binaural beats, that kind of stuff.
Good one to get.
Terry. Thank you, Terry.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you, Laura. They have a trauma package, getting over trauma. That's one of them. There's another one that's even better. It's really good. So, okay, well, thank you. Any questions or anything else before I turn it back over to the powers that are?
Please
just
do
wanna-
another one for us soon.
Well, I'll have to take another shower if I'm going to do that.
Okay, all right. I'll provide the soap.
Okay, good. Good.
Sure, the puppies will help you.
Yeah, they're both right here. They love this meditation. That's Freckles.
Yeah,
Pete's
my
right here.
dog's my dog's fast asleep now since you've been playing this. So
Oh, nice.
I
I just thank you, Terry. I really enjoyed it. I haven't
Yeah.
done binaural beats in a really long time, and I had forgotten just how calming they were. Yeah,
Yeah, we're
Thank
getting
you.
an echo.
That's Charlie again.
Charlie.
I wonder, Dolly, are you that close to them? She's on mute though, so that shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, we hear you.
Okay.
We're just not sure what you want.
I think it's when somebody's on a phone is when that happens.
No one's on the phone there.
Well, Dolly, she's muted.
Yeah, don't want to mute it.
They want you to mute it.
Oh, I'm unmuted.
He is muted.
No, he's not.
I'm unmuted, yeah.
Okay, well, a huge pleasure to be with you. And thank you so much. And I'll let you know if I have to take a shower.
Okay. Let me know in time so I can put it in the newsletter. You can do it again.
Okay. All right. Thank you, everyone.
Beautiful.
Thank you,
Thank you
Jerry.
so much.
Thank you, Terry.
Appreciate
Thank
you.
you.
No, it's- Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oops.
So are we leaving?
Okay. Did we lose me?
No, we can see you. We
I'm not
lost,
hearing anybody.
we lost Carrie.
Have a wonderful week.
Okay.
Thank you to everyone, and thank you for letting me share and for all the beautiful words regarding my dad.